Hey everybody! There is so much that we have learned in math since starting second grade. From now until the end of the year, we are going to be reviewing all that we have learned this year. To start, today we're going to review how to tell time and all about AM and PM. So, let's get started. Right here, I have a clock that I made. I used a paper plate, a tack, and some colored paper. So if you guys want to make one at home and practice with your family members, give it a try. It's really fun. So let's talk about the parts of my clock before we start telling time. The white part right here, this is called the face of the clock. The face of the clock has the numbers going around in a circle. They start at 12, go all the way 8, 9, 10, 11, and then back to 12, and it starts over again. And then on my clock, I have two hands. I have a short hand and I have a long hand, and they both do different jobs. My short hand is called my hour hand. My hour hand tells the hour that we are in. And whatever number the hour hand is pointing to, we say that number's name. So right now, this would be 7 o'clock. We say 7 for the hour. The hour always, always, always comes first. So let me show you, like if it was a clock. This would be a digital clock. Right here we have an analog clock. So this is where my hour hand would go, and this is where my minute hand would go. So the hour hand always comes first. You always say the hour first, and then followed by the minute. The minute hand is my longer hand. So the minute hand is a little bit different. When you say the minutes, so in this case, the hour would be 7. When you say the minutes, we wouldn't say 7, 2, because the minute hand's pointing on the 2. Instead, with the minute hand, we count by 5s going all the way around. So if it was on the 3, we would actually say 5, 10, 15. This 3 stands for 15. So let's go around the clock. So starting at the top, this would be 0, 0, which is what we say o'clock. Then we count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, o'clock, or 0, 0. So let's do a little example. So here's my analog clock and here's my digital clock. Looking at my clock right here, let's see what time it is. So I know that I have to always, always, always look at the hour hand first. So my hour hand right now is pointing at the 7. So I know that stays the same. So it would be 7. We do these, a colon in between. So 7, and then my minute hand is pointing to the 12. So I know I wouldn't say that it's 7:12 because my minute hand, remember, got to count by 5s all the way around. It's at the 0, 0. So this time would be 7 o'clock. Let's try another one. What if it was like this? My hour hand is on the 8 and my minute hand is on the 3. So again, always start with your hour hand. So my hour hand is on the 8. And then my minute hand, I'm not going to say that it's 8:03 or 8:03. I'm going to go ahead and start by counting by 5s until I get to my minute. So here's 0, 5, 10, 15. So I know that this time shows 8:15. All right, I have a trick for you guys. I wonder if I can catch you. All right, what if my hands were like this? Notice my hour hand is not directly pointing to the 7 or the 8 like it was with my last two. It's actually pointing right in between the 9 and the 10. So how do you know which number is your hour? Let me tell you. When your hour hand is in between two different numbers, you always fall back to the number before, the smaller number. So in between, right here, it's in between 9 and 10, and I know that my hands go this way, So the number that it was just on before it's going this way would be 9. So you go back to the number that it was just on, which would be 9. So anytime your hands is in between two different numbers, you always fall back to the number that it was just previously on. So this would be 9. And then my minute hand is right on the 5. So I'm going to go ahead and count by 5s all the way around. So 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So the time on this clock would be 9:25. All right, I have some little cards that we're going to do together. So the first clock in time that I have is 3:30 p.m. Okay, so I know my hour hand comes first, so 3. So I need to turn my hour hand, point it to the 3, and then my minute hand is on the 30. So let's count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So here we are, 3:30. And notice my minute hand, or my hour hand, it can be, if we're making it on our clock, usually we make it directly on. But if this was the clock that was hanging on the wall or at school, it would actually be partially in the middle. So it'd be in between 3 and 4, and we know we fall back to 3. So this clock shows 3:30. Let's look at another one. Ooh, 10:20. For 10:20, start with my hour hand. My hour hand is going to be over by the 10. And then my minute hand, I need to count to 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. So this time would show 10:20. All right, let's see. I have a tricky one for you guys. Ooh, 11:55 a.m. This one tricks you guys a lot on our quizzes and daily grades. Let's look up here. My hour hand is on the 11. Put it up here by the 11. And then 55 is our minute. So let me go around and count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Uh-oh. So both of these hands are up towards this way. But notice, my hour hand is probably not going to be directly on the 11. It's going to be more like in between. So here we are. My minute hand is on 55, and my hour hand is almost to the 12. Because look, watch this. In 5 more minutes, when it goes to 12, my hour hand would also come up to the 12. So very, very, very important. They look like they're both super close together, but this hour hand would almost be to the 12. This shows 11:55. All right, and last one. This one's kind of easy. 7:30 a.m. Let me move my hour hand. My hour hand comes first. 7, in between 7 and 8, really. And 35, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So here we have it, 7:30. All right, I want you guys to practice if you have a paper plate at home or if you have your own personal clock. I want you guys to practice with your family members, brothers and sisters, or just practice telling time by yourself. The next thing we're going to look at is AM, PM. So most of you have probably seen a chart similar to this. Most of your teachers have probably used this one. But this talks about AM and PM. So let's quickly review. We know that there are 24 hours in one day, and it's split up into 2 parts. We have AM and we have PM. Look on here. For my AM, I did all of the numbers in pink, and PM, I did them all in blue. So the first part of the day, the first 12 hours, that is AM. So it starts at 12 a.m. and it goes 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and then right now, after 11 a.m., it goes to 12 o'clock p.m. So right in the smack dab middle of the day, this whole morning part was a.m. Now it's going to go over to p.m. And then my next 12 hours of the day are p.m. So 12 p.m., 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then right after 11:59, it changes back to 12 a.m. And notice, 12 a.m. over here and 12 a.m. over here. This is the end of our day. The next day, it'll start back over. You'll go back and start back over to 12 a.m. So let's look. What are we doing at all of these different times? It gets kind of confusing, so let me explain it to you. So if my day starts at midnight, which to us, that's kind of in the middle of the night, it feels like p.m., but really midnight, you're sleeping during both a.m. and p.m. So it's midnight, that's when our day starts, 12 a.m. Usually from about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably till around 7. During this whole time, we're sleeping. That is when we are sleeping. 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., all of this time, that is when we're sleeping. It's dark outside. But right around 6:30, 7 o'clock a.m. is when we start to wake up. So when we start to wake up, it gets light outside. Notice my sun. And then so we start to wake up, we head to school. We're at school, we're doing reading around 9 a.m. 10 a.m. we're looking to go to specials. 11 a.m. we're ending specials and heading to lunch. And then we switch over. a.m. is done and it becomes p.m. Right in the middle of the day, also known as noon, is p.m. So during the p.m. hours, after lunch, we do grammar and social studies and science. Around 1 p.m., we have math. 2 p.m., we go over and go to recess. And in between 2 and 3 p.m. is when we pack up to head home. So you're home around 3, 4 o'clock p.m. You do your homework, you play outside, all that kind of stuff. 6 o'clock, usually we probably have dinner around this time. So 6 o'clock p.m. we're eating dinner. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, probably getting ready for bed, taking a shower, taking a bath, doing all that stuff. And then hopefully, usually in 2nd grade, you should probably go to bed by about 9 p.m. And so now notice it was sunny during this time. This was the afternoon. Notice around 9 p.m. it starts to get dark again. And this is when you go to sleep. So 9 p.m. then we go to sleep, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. we're still sleeping, and then it hits 12 a.m. And our day starts back over. When it hits 12 a.m., when the 11 o'clock hour is done, it starts back over into a new day. So notice we're sleeping both in p.m. and in a.m. All right, let's talk about some cards. Look at these same cards we just looked at. 7:30 a.m. If it was 7:30 a.m., right about here, that would be when we're waking up and getting ready for school, heading to school around 7:30 a.m. Okay, let's look at another one. What do you think we're doing at 3:30 p.m.? So I know 3:30 a.m. would be over here. So that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at 3:30 p.m. So 3:30 p.m. right about here. So remember we go to recess and then, that's when we're going home. We're getting on the bus, heading home. Maybe we're already home eating a snack. So 3:30 p.m. we're home. 10:20 p.m. Come look over here. About 10:20 p.m. most nights you should already be asleep around 10:20 p.m. So 10:20 p.m. we're sleeping. And then 11:55 a.m. Ooh, so close. It's almost to 12 o'clock noon, but it's still in the 11 o'clock hour. So 11:55 a.m., we're normally eating lunch. Most all of 2nd grade is eating lunch at around 11:55 a.m. Sometimes we eat lunch in the p.m., but sometimes it's also the a.m. So 11:55 a.m., don't get it confused with 11:55 p.m. 11:55 p.m. you would be sleeping, but 11:55 a.m. you will be probably eating lunch or midday. All right, guys, well, we're going to do some practice. I'm going to upload my anchor chart and some practice problems for you guys. So be very careful when you're paying attention to clocks. Keep up the great work.